Welcome to Baird Tech Presents. This is Mr. Rocha, and in this tutorial I'm going to share with you one way to quickly build a Weebly site. As you can see here, I have some logos for Baird that I will gladly share with you. As you can see, one I have that says Baird Athletics, Baird Music, and then this one is it's a mosaic. It looks like a mosaic. I did not create these. Our good friend and lovely librarian Judy Johnson did, and I'm sure that she would love to do nothing more than assist one of you in creating your own Baird logo. Maybe it says Baird 6th grade or Baird whatever. Anyway, but in this tutorial I'm going to share with you how to build your Weebly page in a fairly short amount of time. But the first thing you're going to need to do, so step one is going to be, you're going to need to go to your documents folder and you're going to create a folder. In my case, I called it Weebly site icons. Okay, so stop the video, go and create your go and create your folder, and then come back. Welcome back to Baird Tech Presents. This is Mr. Rocha with step number 2. So in step number 1, you created a folder inside of your documents folder and you gave it a name. All right, so step number 2. Step number 2 is for you to navigate to your Weebly page, okay? And when you do that, you have to go to it's Weebly. It's students.weebly.com. All right, and when you log in with that information that you have, you can you see this page. You'll see the name of your site, which mine is called My Site because I haven't named it yet. And on the right hand side it says Edit Site. So you click on Edit Site. And you come to your website. And in our earlier training we learned how to put a picture in here, and I placed my logo in here. All right, and I haven't put my text in yet. I want to make this quick and simple. Okay, I want to make it effective so I can communicate it to home with moms and dads, because that's the idea here. The idea is that we're going to be bridging that communication gap between our classroom and home. All right, so we got an email and we were given some elements to place on our web page, and so I'm going to share with you what I think is a fairly simple and stress-free way for you to do it as you're just trying to learn how to build web pages. So I'm going to create images or image icons for each of those. I'm going to go and hunt them down. Okay, so notice when I put that image part here, it fills up that page, and I'm going to put 3 of them in. I'm going to use 9 of those elements that were sent to us in our email. Okay, and I can go 9 all the way down. All right, but for me personally, that's too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place an image here side by side, and notice what's happening here. I can put one on the right hand side too. Okay, it's automatically placing it in a table. This web part that was here, that was blank earlier, it is essentially a table. Okay, now I said I was going to use 9, and as we know, 9 is an even number, and so I'm going to take and I'm going to make it a 3 by 3. Okay, and see what's happening is those images are dropping in now, and there we go. This is where my 9 elements are going to live on my web page. Okay, now I want to share with you one troubleshooting thing. When I was making an earlier video for this, I want to show you what happened here. Notice how I put the image down here, and it will fill up the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to just do another one just to show you guys, because you might run into this issue and I don't want you to be frustrated. And I was talking to you guys in the last video, and I was doing all this, and I was coming along here and I wasn't paying attention, and I stuck one here, and look what it did. It rearranged it. Oh, they didn't do that here. Well, never mind. Sometimes you're gonna run into an issue where you're frustrated. My suggestion is just back out and start over with your last step. Okay? Don't delete your site. I'm not telling you to do that. What I'm saying is you just back out by deleting. Okay, this is step 2. So what I want you to do is I want you to decide how many of these elements are you going to have placed on your website. And for task number 2, you're going to place those image parts on your web page. Pause the video, come back for step 3. Do not move on to step 3 until you've done this part. Okay? Thank you. Welcome back to Baird Tech Presents. This is Mr. Rocha, and this is going to be step number 3 in our building our Weebly website tutorial. So in step number 1, you created a folder and you placed it somewhere on your computer. In step number 2, which is what we're looking at here, you placed your web elements, your image parts, on the page. If you were going to use 5, then you place 5 of them, 10, 12, whatever. Okay. Now for step number 3, we're going to step away from this, because what you're going to do is you're going to open up a Word document and you're going to type up a short little spiel about yourself. Okay. Just a short little thing, because it's your introduction. Because what I'd like you to do, my idea, is going to be that your first image is the picture of you. And when the parents click on it, it will open up a web page in which your introduction will be there. Okay? So you're going to pause this video. You're going to go type it up. If you already have it, cut and paste it, or if you already have it in a Word document, then you're good. But pause the video, go find that document and place it inside of your Weebly folder. As you can see, I already have mine. Okay, so pause the video, come back for step number 4. Welcome back to Baird Tech Presents. This is Mr. Rocha. We're going to start with step 4, but let me recap what you were supposed to do for step 3. In step 3, you were supposed to create a Word document that is essentially your welcome letter, okay? And you put some type of spiel in there so people will know a little bit more about you. So we're bridging that gap, okay? As you can see, I've already put my ugly mug in there. So this is step 4. Step 4 is for you to populate this folder with those icons for those particular elements. So for example, my first one here is going to be a picture of me. Okay, I'll just break the ice and let them see who I am right off the bat. And then I'm gonna decide what goes next. Okay, so I want to do a contact, which is going to be my Fresno Unified email. So what I would like you to do is open up a blank web page. Go to Google. And what I did was, in my Google search, you can see I already have my tabs opened up here so I can share with you very quickly. But essentially what I did in Google is I typed in the word contact icons, okay? So let me do that step for you so that you can see what I did. I just typed in contact icons. And this is kind of misleading because it didn't open up to this. What it did was it opened up to this all. This is the page it actually opened up to, okay? But here at the top, it gives me options, right? And so I want images, so I clicked on images, all right? So I'm going to close out this tab and go back to the one I originally had. So this is where we are now. Now, one of the beautiful things about Google is that it understands that you want icons, and so it gives you these suggestions up here, right? So I'm gonna scroll over, and I want mine to be email, and so I see one that says email. So I click on it, and different email icons will appear. Okay. So again, you if you want to just do this original ones that came up, because for you that's how people can contact you, and that represents it, then fine. By all means, do that. It's again personal choice. Okay. I'm going to go to email. And now that I think about it, I'm not going to go to email. I might just use one of these. I'm going to use one of these, but it doesn't matter. So what you're going to do is, once you find the icon that you want, okay, I like this one. You click on it, and you can right click from here and select Save Image As, or you can click here, Save Image As. Now, one thing that I've noticed is that this particular image has a watermark. Okay, if you're okay with the watermark, then that's fine. I'm not, so let me pick a different one. Yeah, they all have watermarks. Yeah, everybody wants credit. Okay, well, it doesn't matter for the purposes of this. Here's one that doesn't have. Okay, so I guess it does matter. All right, so I'm going to right click, Save Image As. I'm not copying the image, okay? I'm saving it. So I'm going to go to Save Image As, and it automatically opens up. So I got to go, I have to navigate to my, not my desktop, I have to navigate to my document folder, my Weebly icons, and I'm going to give it a name, Contacts, Contact Icon, okay? And I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to repeat this process for every single element that I want, okay? It's not going to be hard. It is a little bit of time consuming, but hey, you want your page to look nice. Think of this web page as the front door to your classroom, okay? Somebody is standing outside the front door of your classroom, and your door is decorated very nicely. They're going to think highly of you. You could be the worst person in the world. You could be Charles Rocha, but they will think highly of you because your front door is decorated nicely. So pause this video, complete this task, and come back for step number 5. Welcome back to Baird Tech Presents. This is Mr. Rocha. Okay, so you just completed step number 4. In step number 4, you were asked to populate your Weebly icon folder with icons for your Weebly site. So as you can see here, I have my icons. I have an assignments icon, a bell schedule, my mug shot. I have a contact icon, a grading icon, a school calendar, my technology resources, and my club. Okay. Now, real quick about the technology resources. There wasn't an element that said resources, but it did say something regarding websites and content standards. I'm calling it resources for my parents, okay? But you give it a different name because that name was a little bit long. So anyway, so step 5 here now is, now that I have them, I'm going to navigate to my Weebly site. And I'm going to place in 8 instead of 9. So I think what I'll do is I'll get rid of this one right here. Delete. There you go. All right. So the way we insert an image is you click on it, and it gives you your options. Now notice my screen. I cannot see. Well, in just a second, you'll see what I'm talking about. So let me upload from my computer. And I want to get to my documents, and I want to get to Weebly. Okay, so first picture I want, or first icon I want, is my face. There we go. Boom. Yeesh, that guy's ugly. All right, so as you can see, the images have it's dropped in here, and I probably have to get a better picture. This is a little pixelated, but you get the idea, right? You get the idea. Okay, so for this step, what you're going to do, this is step number 5, you're going to put in your icons in the order in which you want them. Okay, you're going to pause the video, you're going to place in your icons, and then you're going to come back for the next step, step number 6. Welcome back to Baird Tech Presents. This is Mr. Rocha. We are going to begin with step number 6, but before that I want to recap. I want to make sure that you're following along. So in step number 1, you created a folder and placed it somewhere in your computer, in your documents, hopefully. In step number 2, you logged into Weebly and you placed your icon or image elements on your page. In step number 3, you created a personal document in which you typed up information about yourself and you placed it inside of your Weebly folder. In step number 4, you did a Google search for your icons that you want to represent those elements that were given to us in the email. And in step number 5, you placed those elements on your web page in the order that you want them. Okay? So here at step number 6, we're going to do some, what's the word I want? We're going to organize it. We're going to fix the page, fix the images so that they look nicer, more better. Is that correct English, Deidre? Anyway, if you run into issues where your images aren't all the same size and your head's about to explode, okay, relax, breathe. What you can do is you can click on the image. Sorry, I didn't want to do that. I'm going to hover over the image. Now I can do one of two things. I can make my Jostens image smaller than my bell schedule, or I can make my bell schedule the same size as my Jostens. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to try making resizing my bell schedule, and I don't know how it's going to look, but all I did was grab it, and look, it looks more better. Huh, what do you know? Who'd have thunk it? Anyway, so for step number 6, you're going to take the time to adjust your images. Like this guy here, it's bad enough to be ugly, but to be that big and ugly, eesh. All right, so I'm going to hover over this one. I'm going to resize it, and notice that the other images are auto adjusting. Okay, so again, it's your personal choice. All right, I can see that my looks like these two, Symbolu, looks like assignments might need to be a little bit smaller. And so notice here, watch what happens. As I make it smaller, obviously nothing happens to the images below. But as I make it larger, let's see how the Jostens and the bell schedule move. That might be one indicator for you to realize, oh, that's about the size I want it to be, right? They're not going to be symmetrical, or I don't know what the term is, but at least they're gonna look nice. All right. So this is step number 6. Pause this video and complete step number 6 before you move on to step number 7. Thank you. Welcome back to Baird Tech Presents. This is Mr. Rocha. This is step number 7, but before we move on to step number 7, I'm going to recap step number 6 to make sure that you did it correctly, or that you did do it. In step number 6, you were shown how to edit or adjust your images so that they all looked about the same size, so that it's aesthetically pleasing. As I realize I didn't do this one. Okay, so in this step, what we're going to do is we're going to begin to add our links so that when parents come to this web page, what they can click on things. So I've already published my web page, but in order to publish a web page, just so you can see what it looks like, you're going to click on Publish up here, and it gives you your icon, right? Or your link, rather. I apologize, the URL. I've already opened it up, so I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to come over here to the tab because I've already opened it up. I've already published it, and this is what my website looks like. Okay. Now notice it looks fairly nice, you know, all things considered, but I can't click on anything, right? So we're going to fix that. That's what this step is for. And we're going to go step by step, icon by icon, so that there's no confusion and no frustration. My first icon is my picture, okay? And I put it up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it. And there's some things in here that I can use. The most important thing I want to do right now is I want to click on Lightbox, and I'll explain that to you. It'll become visible when I republish this page. So I'm going to turn on the Lightbox, and I'm going to click on this where it says link, and I want to link my bio, that bio that I created. Okay. Now here's a small piece of advice. I had asked you to type it up in Word, and you probably did. But I'm going to ask that you go back to your Word document and save it as a PDF. Okay. So if you look at my Weebly icons document, I now have two welcome letters. One is the Word document, and the other is the PDF. All right. So if you're not familiar how to save a Word document as a PDF, what you do is you open it up, and under the File tab, you click on File, you click on Save a Copy, and this is the file path. It should already be in your Weebly icon folder, and then you're going to select from the document type. You're going to come down here, you're going to select PDF, and you're going to click on Save. Now when I click on Save, it's going to tell me, hey, you already have one, do you want to replace it? You're not going to get that message. So I'm going to click on Yes. And then I'm going to close this out. And there it is. Okay. My PDF is there. Now, it's important because what I discovered was that if you put a Word document up, the Word document downloads for the person clicking. So here's my first attempt when I was off camera for the Word document, and it actually downloaded it. Now, not that I'm worried about anything, because it's just basic information, public information, but I would hate for somebody to get this document and re-edit it and then put it out there on the World Wide Web. Okay, so so what you're going to do is you're going to save it as a PDF. All right. So I was doing all that talking, and you probably lost your spot. So I'll be quiet and start all over. You're going to click on your picture. You're going to select Lightbox, and then you're going to select Link. And we're going to link a file. So you're going to click on File. And as you can see here, both my Word document and my PDF are already there. Okay, because again, off camera, I was testing this out. So you're going to click on Upload New, computer from your file, and you're going to navigate to your PDF, and it gives you that, it says right here link, and then it gives you the option to open in a new window. I would suggest that you open in a new window. Okay, but try it out either way. It's again personal choice. So I'm going to click on open a new window, And I'm going to close off of it. And then I'm going to, then I'm going to come back here. And under advanced, I'm going to put a border around my picture. And you can choose the size. Come back up to the little arrow. Chevron, it's not an arrow. And you can pick the border color. You have two choices, gray or black. I'm going to go with black. And then click on the chevron. And you're back to where you were, right? But look at my light box turned off, so I'm going to turn it back on. I don't know why it does that. So I'm going to click off of this, and then I'm going to click on Publish. Okay. Now, in an earlier step, in step 7, we already published it. But if you didn't publish it, do it now. If you already published it, then you can close this little window out and then come up to your tab and refresh it. But if you didn't publish it to look at it, then you're going to click on this URL, okay? I've already published it, so I'm going to close that out. I'm going to come up here to the tab that opened up when I originally published it, and notice that it looks the same. Well, I haven't refreshed it, so let me refresh my web page. And now you can see the changes for my image. There's the border, and look at the cursor. The cursor goes from a cursor to a hand. Okay. Now let's test it out. I had asked it to open up in a new window when somebody clicks on my bio, on my picture, right? And when I do that, it just gave me a picture. Well, nothing like having tech issues when making a tech video. Well, let me go back. So this could happen to you. Don't get frustrated. Come back to your site, click on it, link a file, and for whatever reason, those steps that I did earlier didn't stay. So you probably won't have the files here. So you'll have to go back to your upload steps. I already have them here. So I'm going to select the PDF. I'm going to click on Open a New Window, close it out, republish it, close this out, refresh. I don't know if it did or not. That was quick. Okay, refresh. Now I'm going to click on it, and Bob's your uncle. There is my welcome letter. Okay, parents can download it as a PDF, or they can print it, turn it into a paper airplane, and fly it around the house. All right. And close it out. Now, somebody might be saying, well, why did you have it open up in a new window? And again, it's personal preference, right? Interesting. Notice how the light box keeps turning off. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm going to come here. I'm going to go back to the file. I'm not sure why this is happening, guys, but I'm going to select it again, but this time I'm not gonna say open in a new window. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I'll republish it. Close this out. Come back to my web page. Refresh it. And now when I click on it, what's going to happen is my web page is going to change. It's not going to open up a new tab. The page is going to change to my profile. Let's see if it happens. Boom, Bob's my uncle. So you were asking earlier, what's the benefit of having a new tab? The benefit of having it open up a new tab is that parents or your end user won't have to come back up here to the back arrow and go back to your page. All right. Again, personal preference. If you want them to hit the back arrow, hit the back arrow. I don't care. It's up to you. But remember, every time they open up one of these links, they're going to have to hit the back arrow that many times. Right? So, just saying. So I'm going to go back. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to link your picture to your bio and then come back to this step, or for the next step. Welcome back to Baird Tech Presents. This is Mr. Rocha. This is step number 8. But before we go on to step number 8, let's recap what step number 7 was. Step number 7 was for you to link your bio to your picture and either have it set up to open a separate web page or just change the web page that was there. Okay. Now we're going to move on to, for me, my next link is my contacts link. Okay. And so I open it up and I am going to click on link right here. And again, I've already done this off camera, so I'm going to unlink it because I want to show you how to, if you need to change something, how you unlink it. So you basically, when you open it up, an icon here that's already been linked to something, and you want to add something, you want to edit it, you have to unlink it. Okay, so I unlink it and I come back to link, and I want to link it to an email. All right, and I'm going to put my email address in there. And I usually do lowercase. I don't mess with the, the capital C and the capital R. I just make it all lowercase. Okay. Oh, and there you go. So now that I've typed in my email address, I'm going to publish it. And I'm going to come back. I'm going to refresh my page. And I'm going to click on the link. Now, here's the caveat to this. As you can see, it opens up my email application on my computer. I'm not sure how that's going to work for everybody else. I already have, because I have this set up. I had this option set up on my computer. I'm assuming that that's how it will work for other people as well. My other suggestion, instead of linking it to an email, would be to create a document that has all the different ways that they can contact you, much like you did for your bio, right? You just create a document. This is how you contact Mr. Rocha. Email address, school telephone number, personal cell phone if that's what you want. And then you just link it as a document so that when they click on it, it opens up as a document. All right. So that's step number 8 for linking an email. Now, I want you to pause the video and find your contacts link, and you decide how you're going to do it. Are you going to put your email address there, or are you going to link it to a document that allows them to see different ways to communicate with you? So pause the video, go to your contacts element, and make your choice, and then come back for step number 9. Welcome back to Baird Tech Presents. This is Mr. Rocha with step number 9. But before we go on to step 9, let's recap number 8. Number 8, I asked you to find your contact tile icon and to link it to either an email address or a document that shows different ways for you to, that the parents can communicate with you. So my next tile is my grade tile. Now I realize as I'm doing this right now, I just realized that we have 2 different portals for parents, one for parents and one for students, right? So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do one for the parent portal. You can actually create another icon, and that one can be for the student portal. Okay. So essentially, what you do is you open up your tile, or your icon rather. Click on link, and I've already pasted it, so I'm going to go to website URL. I've already copied it. Okay, and I've told it to open up in a new window, and so now I'm just gonna close it there. And just as a reminder, if you want to go back and you want to put all these borders and stuff, you can. I didn't do that in the last couple of steps just because to save time, but I just want you to know that you can design it however you want to design it, okay? And let me turn the light box on. Okay. So now that I have it, I'm going to publish it. I'm going to close it out here. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to refresh my page. And there I have my new one. And that should take me to the parent portal. But no, it doesn't. So let's go back and redo this. We're going to link it to a website. Control V. And this is going to happen to you guys. But I don't want you to get discouraged, okay? Don't lose sleep over it. Sometimes you just can't help it. It just happens. Oops. See, that's not publishing it. Was it? This is publishing it. I just assumed. Okay, let's go back and try it again. That was kind of fast. Okay, here we go. Bam, Bob's my uncle. Okay, so as you can see, sometimes it doesn't work as well as you always want it to work the first time. But as long as you have the skills and you start to learn the skills, you can overcome. All right, so let's have you stop here, find your grade icon, and if you only had one grading icon like I do, don't worry about that for right now. Link it to either the student or the parent portal, and then come back for the next step, which I believe is going to be step number 10, and I'm going to share some insights with you. Okay, so do this step and come back. Okay, so pause the video, complete this task, and then come back. Welcome back to Baird Tech Presents. This is step number 10 of building our Weebly web page. But again, before we move on to step 10, let's recap number 9, step number 9. In step number 9, I asked you to open up your grading tile or icon and link it to either the student portal or the parent portal, whichever one, okay? So this is, I think this will be the last step. There'll be a couple of things I'm going to talk about, and then I'll show you something. So let's do the talking first. Okay, so the rest of these links, or the rest of these icons, they are all links. You now know how to link a document to an icon, and you know how to link a website, okay, a URL. Now just let me give you my thinking, and I apologize for the background noise. My dog wants me to play with him, and I don't have time. So let's talk about the bell schedule. You can make it a link, or you can download the PDF and put it up there as a PDF. The one caveat about that would be I would choose the link and not the document. And here's why. Because if that document should change and you haven't taken the time to go and update it, you're going to be frustrated. Your parents will be frustrated. So I would say link it, because we're better off linking it to the Baird webpage, because that will be updated. If something has to change, that will be updated. Okay. Let's talk about assignments. I know that they gave us a link to do assignments inside of Teams, so that when we click on a link, it opens up Teams, right? And that's a great tool. I think what I'm going to do for our staff is I'm going to create a little handout in case you're choosing to put a document up here, so that the parents can have a document that explains to them how when a student logs in, how when their student logs into Teams, they see all of their classes that they have at Baird. Regardless if it's an A day or a B day, or a Saturday or a Sunday, they will see all of their teams, all of their classes, and that's how they can go and access all of their classroom assignments. They can click on their Block 2 class and then see the assignments that are there, that have been posted by the teachers. Okay, I don't want you to do extra work, and I don't know that admin is asking us to do any extra work, but if you're going to be posting your assignments and typing them up and and making sure that they're up to date, that's awesome. I applaud you. I am not that committed. I am lazy. I'm going to post them up on my teams, and that's where students are going to go. And remember, students will also have their agendas. So even though we're not in the classroom and they're not walking from class to class, we should be stressing the importance of entering their assignments in their agenda. Okay? So that's my spiel. You do what you want to do because you're the professional. The school calendar, again, link it to the Baird master calendar. Okay? That would be my suggestion. Now, here's my resources. Okay? For me, my resources are going to be in one central location, and that's my Baird Symbalu page. I put all of the links that my students will need here. They go to one place, they can get to Atlas, they can get to iReady, they can get all the different places that I want them to go to. All right? I'm not asking you to create a Symbalu page. Although a Symbalu page is awesome and it's free, it's another resource that you can use in your classroom. Okay? Nobody's asking you to make a Symbalu page. I am simply using this Symbalu page as my resource because I have already created it. All right? And I am not telling you that having a Symbalu page is what's the word I'm looking for? Is a substitution for our Weebly page or anything else that you may have created on your own. Okay? That's not what I'm saying. I am saying simply that this is my resource page. It might benefit some of you who use different resources to put them all in one place. Okay? And then you're telling students, go to my Symbalu page. All right? So that's it on the Symbalu. On your clubs, maybe you do more than one club, so you can have more than one tile, one for each club. Okay. Same goes for your parent portal or your student portal. Okay. You can have more than one of these icons to go to different places. All right. So enough of that. The last part of this is, as I'm doing this, I realize that parents, when they come to my website, they see this ugly mug. They see these, wonderfully illustrated icons, but they have no clue what these icons mean, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to put text boxes inside of these, okay? And initially I thought maybe step 10 would be our last step. But what I want step 10 to be for you is for you to go in, figure out how you're going to do this. Are you going to need more than one club icon? Are you going to choose to do two grading icons? Make that decision now and readjust, your layout to accommodate that. Do that step and then come back for step 11. Okay? In step 11, I'll show you how to put in a text box to identify what these icons mean. Welcome back to Baird Tech Presents with Mr. Rocha. This is step number 11. But let's recap step number 10. In step number 10, you went back and you rearranged your tiles or your icons to accommodate the fact that you might need two grading icons, one for parents, one for students, or clubs, right? So now that you've done that, the next thing we need to do is we need to make sure that parents know what these icons mean, okay? Now, if one of you out there is, I don't know, literate or proficient with adding text to images before you upload them, then you could always put the name across these images. And I guess what I mean is I mean, you could open up PowerPoint, bring in this icon for contacts, right? And then inside of PowerPoint, put a text box that says "Contact me" over the top of this. Save it as a picture, and then upload it here, and it would say "Contact me" right over this icon. But for most of you, that's, you know, mind-blowing, because it's just one more layer of stress, and I don't want that for you. So what you can do is you can notice how when I hover over each one of these boxes, you can see it's individual, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to come over to the left-hand side. We're going to click on the text element, and we're going to bring it over here. And notice that the marching ants, I call them, are around the entire web part. Now look, this is where I went. This is where I made my first mistake. Initially, I dropped it in here. See how this is? It's kind of highlighted blue. And so when I did that, I ended up having to delete my picture and start over from that box. So I don't want that to happen to you. So what you're going to do is you're going to kind of move it up, and you can just see how there's a blue line there now. Okay, you can just make out a faint blue line, and you put it there, and there's the text box. The text box is now inside of the box that holds my picture, and so you're going to do that for the rest of them. Don't make this mistake. Come up here. This is an exercise in dragging and holding. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing here. All right. Now, I have my top three, right? And that's because for me personally, I don't want it below the picture. I want it above the picture. All right. One could argue to do it the other way, but that's what I want. So it's my web page. I'll do what I want. Okay. So now I'm going to come here, and I'm going to put in my one for assignments. Although I don't know why I need to, because it clearly says assignments, but you know, for the sake of argument. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing for my resources. Now pay attention. I'm waiting for it to turn into that thin blue line. I'm not, you know, again, I'm dragging and holding and moving it around. Unfortunately, there is no undo. Okay, you can't go Control Z and undo. You have to, in my case, I had to delete my picture and start over again, which was frustrating, and I don't want that for you. So please pay attention. I'm trying to save you some stress. And then you're going to come along here and you're going to do the last one. Okay. Now, come on there. Perfect. So you're going to do this for all of your icons. Okay. And then you're going to click in the box and you're going to type in what it is. So this is all about Mr. Ocho. All about me. Okay. And again, that text box or that edit box comes up top, and if you want to center it, you can center it, and you want to give it some color and change the size, you can do all of that, right? But for whatever reason, it's not working. But of course, why would it? Oh, let me select it. Make it larger, right? So the one thing that you can't do here is you can't say, oh, I want it to be a 13, right? So I'm going to come here because I lost track of how many times I clicked. So I'm going to start it back from the smallest, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I like that. That's the perfect size for me. Okay, now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to type in contact me. But this time I'm going to pay attention to how many times I'm making it pluses. So here, 1, 2, 3. I think it was 3. And then I'm going to make it centered. And if you want to do the coloring, you do the coloring. Totally up to you. Now let's publish it, just so you get an idea of what it's going to look like. Close this out. Come back here. And now parents know what the heck these icons mean. Okay, so I want you to pause the video and go back and do this step. And hopefully you have found this to be helpful and kind of alleviate some of your stress. Okay, because this is a web page. It's a way to communicate. Again, we're bridging that gap between our classroom, our digital classroom, and home. Okay, so you can always reach out to me and ask for some help. Okay, so have a great day, and I'll see you in our staff meeting.